This is a little story that I'd like to tell about today. That three of us fellas decided that we would get some cognac when we were in France, and we were bivouacked in the woods, and three of us decided a Frenchman from Canada who spoke French very well, and myself and a good friend of mine, Clark McFadden, we decided to scout out, see if we could find any place where people had any cognac. So we started out and we found a farm that the people were moving back into because the Germans had vacated it. And our French friend asked them if they had any cognac. And they said, well, there might be some, but first they had a problem that maybe we could help them with. And we asked them what the problem was, and they told us that on the dining room table was a German hand grenade. And they were afraid to go into the dining room because of that hand grenade, and it would ask us if there was any way we could get rid of this hand grenade for them. So we asked them if they had a long-handled shovel, which they did. They got the long-handled shovel, so the three of us go into the dining room, and we get the shovel and work it under the hand grenade. Now, if that hand grenade had exploded, we'd have blown to bits because we were that close to it. But we were foolish enough to take the hand grenade and get it on this shovel. And we carried it out. It didn't go off. And we laid it down on the ground beside their steps. We dug a hole and buried it there. And I don't know, maybe it's still there for all I know. But anyhow, when we got done doing this, the Frenchman says, well, now, he says, out in the barn, in the back of the buildings, there may be some small kegs. And that they had cognac in them at one time, but he didn't know whether they were empty or not. But we were okay for us to go back there and look. So we went back and we found these small kegs, wooden kegs, and we picked them up and shook them, and we could hear something slopping around inside of these kegs. So we found some bottles laying there, and we put our handkerchiefs over top of the bottle, and then we poured the stuff, this liquid out of the kegs into the bottle, and lo and behold, it was cognac, but it had been very old, and it had been in there a long time. And so then once we got the cognac I think it was 2 bottles that we got of it, and we started drinking it. Well, by the time we got back to where we bivouacked that night, we were pretty well soused because we drank so damn much of this cognac. And unfortunately, I was supposed to go on guard duty that night, and it was dark when we got back. So I had to go on guard duty. It came my turn. So while on guard duty, the Germans sometimes during the night would send airplanes over with 2 engines, and they would unsynchronize the engines. So one made a noise one way and the other one made a noise a different way. And it would wake you up, actually, because you weren't used to this. It wasn't a smooth noise. And if they knew where you were, they would drop anti-personnel bombs on you. And they were little bombs that they could drop by hand. But anyhow, this airplane comes over, so I decided to shoot the airplane down. And while I'm on guard duty, and I start firing at it as it went over top of me, and pretty soon the officer comes running out, says, for God's sake, quit shooting at that airplane. You're giving our positions away. They can see the flashes from your gun. And that took care of that. I quit firing that night. I went right back to bed. That's all I can tell you.